Very good. Call the meeting to order. Please stand for the pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we get the meeting started, I'd just like to introduce Michael Luby, who is the board's attorney. As courtesy, he comes and visits us every now and then.
All right, so, school board recognition, we just want to thank you for all these gifts and posters and presents, so.
So there's a couple more things coming.
Oh,
So Lucinda, you want to start?
You want me to start? Okay,
Sure.
There's a presentation, I'm going to show it from the elementary school, and ladies, right here, you're going to get blasted. This is what
Speakers
the
are right there.
speakers,
Be
okay,
ready.
yeah. Not too bad, right? That's the worst I have to do today.
Who's next? Rachel, do you want to say what you handed out from him?
Yeah, so that's from our high school student council, and just to thank you for everyone on the board.
Thank you. Thank you. And there's a middle school student council here too. Did I see Mr. Savonia? Oh, there you are. It's small enough, you don't need to speak in the mic, do they? Lucinda?
If they want to, they will hear them better on.
Just the mic, but
Yeah, yeah.
you don't have to.
Okay. Hi, I'm Georgia Horschel. I'm Emma Schmidt, and the Eden Middle School Student Council would like to thank all of you for your service. The Eden School District is very fortunate to have such a thoughtful and dedicated community of members guiding and supporting our organization. Thank you for all that you do.
Thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome.
So
Thank you.
I would like to say that some of us already received the maroon bags.
Oh, thank you.
I will be honest and say I already got one,
So
so.
some of this is just someone.
Don,
Don, is it yours?
Don
I
needs
didn't get one.
That must be you. Okay. So the official board recognition week is in October. We're celebrating you in November, which is why some people already have that. Is there anyone else here who wants to speak? Lauren, you? Anyone?
Well, so you can see that we have some classes who gave you some candy bars with some hero little poems from some special children. And you have some posters up there from a few kindergarten classrooms, first grade classrooms. You have a little turkey up there from Mrs. Height's classroom. And Mrs. Bauer from the GLP office staff kindly baked you some special treats, so if you want to share those up there. I'd love to take credit for baking for you, but I don't even cook dinner, so you don't. So please enjoy your treats, and thank you so much. The GLP sends their thanks.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
And then you also have one of these. This is from our art department in all 3 and 4 levels. Mrs. Alessi Nicastro, Mrs. Drawn, Mrs. Morgan, students home is for you as well. Wow, you're gonna need bags again.
I know.
Right.
It's like
Need
Christmas.
more hands, yeah.
So I hope I'm speaking loud enough for the microphone, but I just want to tell you, and I know that I can't possibly say it in enough words, but this is one of the most dedicated, authentic, transparent, and student-focused boards that I've worked with in 30-some-odd years of education, and I just want everyone to know that and to thank you all. It's been a privilege for me to work with you one more year.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
And I just want to say it's been a great experience.
Is this your second year?
I'm to the end of my 3rd year in the spring.
Really?
Yeah. So,
Cheryl and I.
yes, it's been a wonderful experience. I've loved it, and the community has made it very welcoming and very learning experience in a good way. And I've learned a lot. I just, growing up, I just thought a school ran itself. I didn't realize what it took to run a school.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And thank you, Barb, as the district clerk, for all you do. You keep everyone organized the whole time.
For sure.
You know that you do it quietly most times. But we really appreciate you too. And Lucinda and her tag-along Kevin, who have jumped through hoops to make it happen here at the elementary school. So, and Rachel, thank you too for being a student rep this year. It's been fun to have you. Okay, you ready to rock?
All right.
And don't feel like you have to stay for the whole meeting if you don't want to. So if you do your part, you want to leave, we're okay with that.
No judging.
That's right, we won't judge you. Way to go. The fun, thank you so
Bye,
much.
guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, now AFS, Mrs. Pace and her students have something to present to us.
Thank you, Mrs. Doctor.
One real benefit of having the meeting pushed back to 7:30 is they're all here.
Sweet.
So-
They just can't get in the room, right?
Right, they can't get in the room. This year, this is the largest number of students we've had in the town of Eden, I think, ever. And I can
They
say that
can come over
because.
here. There's nothing on the screen that you can see. If they want to come in,
Oh,
they can.
clinic.
Yeah. Yeah, please.
And this is them, folks. I've been in AFS since I went to school here, when I was in high school here. So I can really say, this is the largest number of kids that I know of that we've ever had. They're some of the best kids we've ever had. I have to say I'm very honored to be their liaison for the school district. And I have truly, truly enjoyed having each and every one of them. They have been very busy. 3 of them have been very busy because they're on scholarships here, and this is International Education Week. So they have been very busy doing presentations throughout Buffalo, our school district, and the whole community. And with the meeting a little bit later, they were able to get here. So without any further ado, I'm going to let them introduce themselves instead of me. And who wants to go first? Luca, thank you.
Hello everybody, I'm Luca, I'm 17 and I'm Italian. I'm from near Rome, a little town. I like Eden because it's pretty similar to my town. You know, farm, books, animal, and I like it.
Nice, welcome.
Jobin, you're right next.
Hello everyone, my name is Joel and I'm from Tajikistan. Like, not all of you know where it's at. And I really love Eden. I already experienced a lot of things which I dreamed about. For example, it's American football. I was like dreaming to do that like from my childhood. So I did that and I'm really happy about that.
Nice, welcome.
Hey guys, I'm Mayal Hamoudi from Palestine. I'm 15 years old and I'm a junior. And thanks for hosting me. I'll try to do my best.
Hello everyone, my name is Kenta from Japan. I'm 18 years old. America is different in Japan, so I want to experience in this year. I want to try everything. Thank you.
Good night everyone, I'm Sergio from Spain, Madrid. And the best thing I liked from Eden is it was the soccer season because we won the blue patch and it was really fun with the teammates.
All right.
Hello everyone, my name is Simon. I'm here with the CBYX scholarship and I really love Eden and all the people that are here. And I'm 16 years old from Germany, Munich.
One of the things I always hear from our students that come from abroad is that we celebrate a lot of holidays. Have you noticed that too?
Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah.
Can you talk about that for a minute? What did you notice and how long have you been here?
Okay, so I've been here for 2.5 months now, and I think we had a few holidays already. So
There's a few more coming.
yeah, there are a few more coming. So for example, we don't really celebrate Thanksgiving that big. It's not a really big event in Germany, but I'm excited for that. And also what I really like is to experience the Veterans Day here, because in Germany we don't have a Veterans Day. And it was really cool to experience that.
I'm sure Oktoberfest isn't like here like it is in Germany.
Yeah, but it's not a holiday.
Did
Most
you-
people have to work.
Did you enjoy Halloween?
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
a big one. And my grandkids are exhausted, they tell me. And are you all here all year?
Yep.
Yeah.
All year,
Wow.
nice. So Mrs. Pace, do they do stuff together with you?
Yeah, they are part of the AFS club. It's grown, Rachel's on it, and we do activities, the kids lead it, and they decide what they wanna do and where they wanna go. And so, they're talking about, they haven't put it all together, but they're talking about possibly a trip to New York City.
Oh, nice.
We have done the Buffalo architectural tour with, the kids last year and hope to do that again this year. We have a whole long list, I could go into that.
Oh, yeah, the
But-
falls.
Yeah, the fall and the winter and the spring, so we've got quite a few things, possibly take them tubing, sledding, at Kissing Bridge. So, yeah, we're busy. And here's the other thing too, it's tough, because this whole group is very involved in the school themselves. Like, they don't need me or the AFS club to help them be involved in the school. They have been very good on their own, making friends and participating and being in sports or clubs or that kind of thing. So it's sometimes it's hard getting all their schedules to meet up, but yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining
Well,
us.
Sergio, after he got off the soccer field, he showed off his talents in the pool against his host sister, Lizzie Agel. They raced, and I think you beat her once, right? And she beat you once?
So it was like, the first one I lost like.
Yeah, just a little bit.
And the second one we tied.
Yes. He's not only good on the soccer field for someone who's never swam other than like scuba
Because I
and
surf.
stuff like that. He really,
Surf.
I had a hard time not recommending to Milson that you swim on the boys varsity team. He was just like, Sergio's like, no thank you, no thank you, no thank you.
Wonderful. So what's next?
As in,
Anything, what's next?
what's-
Anybody going on a trip, or you need presentations
Yeah.
somewhere else
Oh,
still?
yeah, we are.
We're all doing our presentations right now for the International Education Week. We are doing these, and I think we had about
Like more than 20, like.
Yeah.
Really?
yeah, we had
Yeah.
Really for,
a lot today.
So where do you do the presentations?
for example, before coming here, we did in nursery house. Yeah.
And
And
school,
we're-
and yesterday we were at the McKinley High School,
Yeah.
and some other high school, what was it called?
Amber,
Yeah, Amber High School.
Very
Oh, nice.
education, yeah.
And you're doing some of the classes in this building too, right?
Yeah, yeah, we did
the elementary
twice.
stage.
Twice today?
Yeah,
And then,
4 kids, and we did like in each period in our school.
and then tomorrow, we're gonna be back here and at the GLP. And, I'm shuttling them back and forth. I made a mistake, I learned. I put out, we only had one student last year who had to do them for her scholarship. And it was really easy, and I didn't have a lot of running around to do. So this year, I just put it out there, I said, anybody who wants
And
to have
everybody
a
wants.
student, and I was flooded with requests. Because I really think, they have been very involved in the school district, so I think that was the inspiration that everybody really wanted to have them in their classrooms. So I've been going back and forth with them, trying to get them to classes here and in the other building. So next year, it's gonna be a GLP day and an elementary school day. But it's really been great fun. Mayar has extra incentive for doing lots of them. Why? Tell them.
Oh, if I do more than 30 presentations, I get a free trip to Florida.
Oh. She's well on her way. I can vouch for that.
Disney World.
Is that where too, Disney World?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
For a week?
For a week.
Is that during the winter?
I don't know.
I'm thinking, but I don't know. Yeah. So what's next is, tons of stuff because they're very busy kids. So, and then for colleges, I don't know, do you guys wanna run through where you hope to go to school or what your careers, what you hope to have as a career? Do you know?
I want to be a businessman.
A what?
Businessman.
A businessman?
And if a university texts me like while I'm here and it's a good option, I'll stay here, but I don't think so.
So I'm not quite sure yet what I'm gonna do, but if I'm gonna attend college, and I will do it in Germany because we don't have to pay for college in Germany.
Oh,
So
that's
that
a good
will be a good opportunity to do that.
I want to be a government officer to make road or bridge, make city.
I want to be a surgeon.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah, I'm kind of into business, and I wanted to go to college or university here, but it's like too expensive, so I don't like to pay my parents for that.
I want to be a pilot. I already chose the university in Italy. It's an aeronautic university.
Nice.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much for accepting all of them too, because the work for the school board being so open and accepting to our AFS students, these young people would not be in our district. And I do want to add, I am very proud of our district for being so open to our international exchange students. They're having a difficult time placing students. This year has been extra difficult getting districts to accept students from abroad.
So not the host family, but the school districts?
Some of the school districts, yeah, and I'm talking across the country. So it is very helpful when the school district supports it, because then, families often feel more willing and engaged to accept students when the school board itself is very accepting of students. So I'm especially proud of Eden for your openness as a whole, the district as a whole, but also for the board to accept so many students. I do appreciate that, and I appreciate all the teachers at the high school for making accommodations and really working with these kids so that they can really get the most out of this year. So, thank you very much.
Thank you. You guys.
Thank you.
Good luck, guys. Good luck. Have fun. Bye. Enjoy Thanksgiving.
Bye.
Next up is Pupil Personnel Services, Mrs. Johnson, you're up. Mrs. Trito, Mrs. Hennigan Fitzgerald.
Okay, while you're getting it set up, thank you for letting us do a little presentation tonight, and they're gonna introduce themselves, but I have to introduce them first anyways. Holly Trito is our school social worker, K through 5, and Shannon Fitzpatrick is our school counselor, K through 5. Oh, Fitzgerald, she's got this hyphenated name, and I said, should I do it? And again,
I said just Fitzgerald.
it's Fitzgerald, so I call her Fitzpatrick, it's all whatever. Anyways, they're gonna do a little presentation, but I just wanted to, Mrs. LaRosa wasn't available tonight, and she just said, could I please read this before they start? And they're gonna explain what this is about in a second, but she just wanted you to know that, she goes, I cannot say enough about our Push In Tier 1 guidance program, in which she will share in a second, Shannon will. We have discussed for years that guidance needs to be proactive and educational. This is what the regulations called for. In the past, many things have stood in the way of this model. But thank you for making this happen. It was a big program we brought into the district, and obviously thank you, because we got the budget to do it. There is a noticeable difference in the attitude and actions of our students. So, and you can even, we do it in both Lauren's building and Mrs. LaRosa's building. But they'll talk a little bit more, and I'll let them do the talking, but I wanted you to hear her.
Thank you, Sean.
You're welcome.
Good evening, and thank you for having us. So as Sean said, we're here just to introduce ourselves to you, give a brief overview of what our roles are and what we do on a daily basis. So I'm Holly Trito. I'm the school social worker for grades K through 5 in the GLP and the elementary school. I've been here for just over a year. I started last school year in October.
And I'm Shannon Fitzgerald. I am the school counselor for K through 5, and this is my 3rd year.
And Shannon and I rotate between the buildings, between GLP and elementary on a daily basis. So we usually are, each one of us in a building. Even though our roles are very similar and overlap in many ways, there's also differences. So both of us provide individual counseling and group counseling to students, conflict resolution as needed, crisis intervention and de-escalation as needed. We have walk-ins daily, more so in the elementary school building. We collaborate with teachers and families as needed, and we ensure safety of students. And my role as the school social worker focuses mainly on mandated counseling. Mandated counseling includes students who have counseling on their IEP and 504 plans. And I work with them individually and in groups, and sometimes both, depending on what their needs are. I also connect families with outside resources and do community outreach and home visits as needed.
And as the school counselor, I also do all the things listed above, but my focus is more on the students as a whole, so the tier 1 students. And I do the social emotional lessons and bullying prevention.
And here's just some examples of some things that we help students with, including anxiety, social skills, coping skills, grief counseling, conflict resolution, frustration tolerance, managing emotions, self-control, self-esteem, problem solving, divorce and family stressors, and relaxation techniques. And this is some data just to kind of give you an overview of what our caseloads look like. And this is from last school year. So last school year, I had 60 students on my caseload. These are students that I see on a regular basis. This doesn't include the walk-ins or students that we see 1 or 2 times. 37 of those were mandated, and again, mandated are students that have counseling on their IEP or 504 plans. 23 were from referrals. Referrals can come from parents, students themselves, teachers, or IST meetings. Shannon had 38 students overall on her caseload. 18 were mandated and 20 were from referrals. And so far this year, we've already had 32 referrals, just since school has started. So that goes to show it's increasing.
So I'm leading into the referrals. We have a newer process that we just started last year, and so we've been using a Google form to track our data. When a response is submitted, multiple people receive an email. So I receive an email, Holly receives an email, Sean Johnson, and then our school psychologist, Joe Weiss. And this is so that we are all able to efficiently review the concerns of the teacher and discuss the plan for the student without having to email back and forth or try to set up meetings. The Google form also helps us streamline the referral process for everyone involved, and it allows us to track data efficiently. So as you can see on the chart up here, we are able to track referrals that we receive for each grade level. So if you take a look, you can see that the highest was 5th grade and then 4th grade, and that's kind of what we would expect. So and it's kind of following the same pattern this year. Within this form, we are also able to easily monitor what our students are being referred for. So last year, our top referral reason was anxiety and worries, and that is continuing to be our main concern again this year when students are referred. As a part of the new mental health mandate for New York State, I am delivering the lessons on social emotional learning. So I meet with each class, kindergarten through 5th grade, on a bi-weekly basis. We cover topics like how to be a better learner, showing empathy towards others, managing emotions, and problem solving. I piloted this program about halfway through last year, and the students responded very well. The lessons are very age appropriate, and they discuss relatable situations in the videos that accompany the lessons. And that is about it. So we just wanted to make sure we told you a little bit about what we're doing this year and the program that I started this year.
Any questions? No, I just have a comment.
Sure.
My oldest niece graduated from here in 2010 from Eden School, and when she was 7 or 8, there was a sudden death in the family of her godfather, her uncle. And she went through a phase where she did not want to go to school, she didn't want to come out of her room. and I believe she was at the GLP at that time. Whoever was there at the time, I don't remember, but they said as long as you get your daughter, to my sister, as long as you get her to the curb, whether it's kicking and screaming, we will take care of her. And they did a great job with her. It was to see how she's 27 now, so that was forever ago. And ironically, she is now a licensed mental health counselor.
That's great.
So you did something the program, and that was way back, so.
Right.
Yeah.
That's every morning, Mrs. Carpenter.
Well, yeah, that's.
That's every morning.
Lauren, we're not talking about you.
Let's get her to the curb. We'll get her in.
I just want to ask a quick question. So obviously we have two buildings. So are you guys split, one in one building one day and the other? 'Cause
Yeah.
if there's a
Yes.
We
crisis, you
rotate on a daily basis.
Okay.
So Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I'm at GLP, and we actually split Fridays. I'm at the GLP Friday mornings, and then elementary on Friday afternoon, so it's 2.5 days in each building.
It's a nice partnership too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we touch base because, an issue comes up one day, and then Shannon's there the next day. I kind of have to let her know the student might be coming down again, and so we keep in contact on a daily basis as well.
I think it's so grateful that we have a social worker too. We had Helen, part-time for how many years?
Oh my goodness.
The whole district, and then, and to be able to get one through the K through 5, we meet weekly. The amount of kids, and the home visits we're able to do now, we'll go together in home visits. And that gave you the ability to push into the classroom and be proactive, which we haven't had a chance to do at all.
Right.
We react to everything that was happening, so I am blessed that we have this much support as we do right now. I don't know how we did it. I'm glad we did good back then. I think I know who the counselor was, because I was here.
And I even think it was a shared service through a BOCES counselor.
Yeah, we took whatever we could get.
Mrs. Everly was her name, actually.
Oh, yeah, Julie.
Yeah.
But it sounds like you're able to really get to those kids so much quicker than, all these other years when you would have to wait for weeks sometimes.
Right. Right, because we just didn't have that support.
These kids would be in, just there, and I know the caseload is so much greater now. so
Right, and it's
this is
helpful
great.
because I am able to get to know all of the kids now this year, so they recognize me, I see them in the hallway, I'm a friendly face, and I also tell them, if I'm not in the office, Mrs. Trito is here, and you can talk to her too, she does the same thing that I do, so she can help you in the same way. So it's really great because they're aware that we're here now, and so.
And they come to us when
Yes.
they need to.
They sure do.
They do.
Yeah.
Sean, this is all part of the budget from a year and a half ago with the whole safety.
Yes,
the
yes, that
SRO.
we were able to hire
Okay.
the social worker, yeah.
This now connects, as we work on the budget, now connects the dots.
Yeah, that would be it. And now with the new social emotional learning standards and everything we're supposed to put in, all the mental health training we're doing in the district, all our staff is getting trained. This is needed support for sure that we got to somehow keep in the budget.
And I look forward to, as I grow in this position, provide more support and mental health resources to students, staff, and families in the community. I have lots of ideas.
That's great. She does.
And we just want to keep improving our program and do the best we can for our students.
Thank you for what you do.
Thank you so much. At this point, do we have any requests to remove from the consent agenda? Any items to remove from the consent agenda? So, hearing none. That upon the recommendation of the superintendent, consensus items A through U be approved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yes, we have put together a new report for the Board of Education, it's a treasurer's report, where you are getting pages and pages of bank reconciliations. You will now find that consolidated into a 2-page report, a cash receipts report that will go for the entire year, and then that rolls up and ties into the bank reconciliations on the treasurer's report for you. So if you have any questions or needs, you can check with Mary Labasco, the treasurer, or myself, and they'll help you walk through the new report. We did review it and present it to the Audit Finance Committee this month, so Don and Jack and Alan are also available to help you if you have any questions.
That's part D of the consent agenda.
Item D.
Yes, and so what you won't see in December is GH9, is that right? Right, so G is your multi-fund, H is your ACH warrant, and I is your capital project warrant, so all roll into D.
And that will give you an opportunity to look at higher elevated level instead of getting lost in all the detail and the volumes of data.
Okay. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion carried.
So this is the time that the board is designated to receive statements from individuals and groups. The board will review all statements, then respond appropriately at a future meeting. All persons in attendance are required to sign the attendance sheet and designate their representation status. For example, parent, teacher, bus driver, chamber of commerce, etc. There is a 2-minute time limit. So, welcome anybody.
I'll start. I have something to say.
You have to go with
Can you go to the mic?
She wants to make sure you get on the
Yeah.
recording.
Yeah.
My name is Colleen Gaglione. I'm a parent of a 9th grader. And I don't know if you know that I also sub-nurse at the school. I've been a registered nurse for over 30 years and I have a lot of critical care experience. And last week I subbed at the school and one of the teachers had a medical emergency in the classroom. And I just want to commend the staff. Within a half hour, we had the situation under control and the student was dismissed to the parent. So I don't know if you always get all the good news, but so Mr. Sarana called, we went down to his classroom. I had him call the administrator, they put a shelter in place immediately. So it maintained the scene for us to take care of the student and not have all the traffic. Mr. Mitten and Mr. Hassett talked to the parents on the phones to calm that situation down. The SRO attended and the 2 hall monitors. So I just want to say thank you very much. I want you to know that it worked. So, and that brings to my attention, there's a lot of, being a high school nurse is not the easiest position in the world. There's over 700 and something students and whatever could go wrong usually does go wrong. If I work 6 days, 3 of those times that I work at the high school, I'm either calling an ambulance or children are going to the hospital. So, and they're major things like concussions and compound fractures and, the emergency we had the other day. So I'd much rather be at the hospital taking care of my patients there. I want to commend the nurses too. They do a great job. So.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Colleen.
That's very sweet.
Anybody else? Going once.
And I'm getting a reputation.
New business. Okay, new business resignations, that upon the recommendation of the superintendent, the resignation of cafeteria manager Sarah Wakeman be accepted effective October 18th, 2019. The board and administration wish to thank Mrs. Wakeman for her service to the district.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion carried.
That upon the recommendation of the superintendent, the resignation of fitness center worker Nicole Greiner be accepted effective November 13th, 2019.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstained? Motion carried.
Okay, new business appointments. All appointments will not be effective in service to the district pursuant thereto shall not begin until there has been compliance with statutory and regulatory provisions for fingerprinting and certification clearance for appointment. First appointment, that upon the recommendation of the superintendent, Joseph Lucenti, who is permanently certified as a school administrator supervisor, be appointed as a substitute assistant principal effective December 1st, 2019, through approximately December 20th, 2019.
Second. Any discussion?
Yeah, just so in case you're confused, Joseph Lucenti has been our interim high school principal. He is not of age where he can make a certain amount of money and still collect his pension, and so the recommendation from TRS is that we actually appoint him as an assistant principal for the month of December, so that he doesn't get his TRS or his pension suspended. And so The only change honestly that will happen for you at the high school is that Mr. Cervoni will be the only one allowed to sign any suspension letters. Other than that, he'll continue to do his job as he's done it before.
Hopefully they won't be.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstained? Motion carried.
That upon the recommendation of the superintendent, after successfully completing his probationary period, Joshua Rindfleisch, I hope I said that right, be permanently appointed as a school monitor effective November 6th, 2019.
Second.
Any discussion?
He's done a great job. It's been a good addition.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstained? Motion
You know what
carried.
his name means in German?
No.
Roast beef.
That would have been easier to say.
Right?
Okay. That upon the recommendation of the superintendent, after successfully completing her probationary period, Emily Townsend Bauer be permanently appointed as a bus attendant effective December 16th, 2019.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstained? Motion carried.
That upon the recommendation of the superintendent, Jason Lyons, who is professionally certified as a school district leader, initially certified as a school building leader, and permanently certified in social studies 7 through 12, is hereby appointed to a probationary position in the principal tenure area for a probationary period commencing on December 20th, 2019, and ending on December 19th, 2023. This expiration date is tentative and conditional only, except to the extent required by the applicable provisions of Section 3012 of Education Law. In order to be granted tenure, the administrator must receive composite or overall annual professional performance review ratings pursuant to Section 3012D of the Education Law of either effective or highly effective in at least 3 of the 4 preceding years. I have to read the rest of it? Okay.
That's good.
You know all this.
You've served your purpose here, Mr.
You're hired. You're hired for the next year.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yep, so Mr. Lyons or Jason is here. This is your new high school principal, guys. He'll start with us on December 20th, which is notoriously our holiday parties, right? So we want you to start on that day so you can get around and meet people. He's brought his wife too, Jen.
Oh,
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
And is it Sophie or Sophia?
Yeah.
Sophia, who was going to come with them, their daughter decided she had to stay home and do what?
Study.
Study.
Good for her.
Academy of Finance.
That's right.
Take 4 tests.
That's right.
Do what you have to do.
This is pretty boring anyways.
We're absolutely thrilled to have Mr. Lyons with us, and we're glad you could be here with us tonight too.
Welcome.
Thank
To
you.
vote on it.
Oh, sorry, we didn't vote yet.
We'll do another round.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye. Yeah.
Any opposed? Abstained? Motion carried.
Right. Thank you. Congratulations for being here.
Congratulations. You can come to our basketball games.
All right, be it upon the recommendation of the superintendent, Cheryl Dunmeyer, be appointed on probation as a cafeteria manager effective November 21st, 2019, and ending on May 20th, 2019. Salary is based on CSEA contract level 2, step 1.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstained? Motion carried.
That upon the recommendation of the superintendent, Mary Banko, be appointed on probation as a transportation supervisor effective November 21st, 2019, and ending on May 20th, 2019. Salary is $75,000 annually prorated for the 2019-2020 school year.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yes, I'd like to let the board know, Mary has been our head bus driver for the past several years. She has done an awesome job getting our kids to and from where they need to be, dealing with bus driver shortages, mechanic shortages, and I look forward to being able to turn more of the reins over to her because she does a great job for you and she cares.
So she's basically been doing this job. with
So
us.
what she hasn't been able to do, Laura's been able to do as the administrator, but now under this title, Mary will be able to do her own evaluations and some of the other paperwork that you had to oversee, right?
And some of the discipline, yep.
So even more work for Mary.
Yes, congratulations.
Congratulations.
Well,
Well,
yeah,
you
you
can't
can't
do
do
it.
it.
We got about,
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstained? Motion carried.
Right, now we can
Thank you, Mary, it's been really great to work with you.
That upon the recommendation of the superintendent, Cynthia Casper be appointed on probation as head bus driver effective November 21st, 2019, and ending on May 20th, 2019. Salary is based upon CSEA contract level 13, step 3.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yes, Cindy has been in our bus garage as a driver for the past year and a half. I believe she was an awesome steal from the Fisher Bus Company. She is also this Board of Education's claim auditor, so she does multiple things for us in the district. This promotion is a great addition to the transportation office and will enable Mary to be able to deal with the extra duties she just assumed.
And not work 15-hour days. That's really
Yes.
the goal here, so.
Well, we'll see. She might still try and do that.
Well, Cindy's supposed to know that.
Oh, good.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstained? Motion carried.
Congratulations. That upon the recommendation of the superintendent, Gabriel Rodriguez be appointed as a home instructor effective November 21st, 2019. Salary is $28 per hour.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstained? Motion carried.
That upon the recommendation of the superintendent, I won't read it all. Jason Iwanka, did I say that right? Jason?
Iwanka's correct, yes.
Thank you. Was professionally certified in health and physical education and initially certified as a school building leader, is hereby appointed to a probationary position as an athletic director, assistant principal, for a probationary period commencing on approximately December 20th, 2019, and ending on December 19th, 2023. Now, the rest are said, right?
Second.
Any discussion?
So, I know Jay's trying to find Jack and his wife,
Yeah.
right? So go ahead and get him.
No,
Let him come in.
they're good.
It's all right if
Yeah.
Jack comes in, I wanted to.
Bring him in.
We really want to know who's been out there making noise. There's Jack.
This is
Hey, Jack! Hey! Hey! You have a snack too.
This is my wife Allie, so.
Hi, Allie.
You can wait there.
Well, now you can finish.
Well, is there any discussion?
Jay comes to us from the Niagara Wheatfield School District, where he is currently the Dean of Students at Colonial Village. We're absolutely thrilled to have him come on board as well. He's been a coach for over 14 years, and no matter where I went, people were like, he's amazing, great things to say about Jay. And so we have to call him Jay, though, because we now have Jason, Jeff, and Jay. It's the J crew, that's right, so this is it. So we're going with the J crew now. And Jack.
And Jack.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstained? Motion carried.
So welcome. Hey, Jack, huh? Jack, if you have to go to bed, it's okay. Don't feel like you have to stay, Jack. It's all right.
Yes.
Oh, here, you can do this too. Thanks, Larry. Larry's gonna take it from you.
Jay, here's my business card, so you can give me a call if you have any questions.
That's your homework for tonight.
Well,
Just call us by
appointed,
then.
here's the paperwork.
Yeah, you should go.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
we'll be
yeah.
working together, yeah.
Oh, he wants to go, congratulations.
Oh, that's nice.
That upon the recommendation of the superintendent, Joe Vicente be approved for temporary employment as a retiree under section 211 of the Retirement and Social Security Law, subject to the approval of a waiver by the commissioner. This temporary employment as the high school substitute assistant principal for the Eden Central School District will run from December 1st, 2019 through December 20th, 2019. Mr. Lucenti possesses permanent certification for this tenure area.
Second.
Any discussion?
Only that this resolution, which you saw before for the month of end of August through the end of November for substitute principal, is required for 211 waiver, and then we can go do the paperwork after that.
Any Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstained? Motion carried.
That upon the recommendation of the superintendent, 2 old desks from the physical education office be declared excess and disposed of as the district deems appropriate. They will be replaced with 2 desks that were removed from the district office.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstained? Motion carried.
That upon the recommendation of the superintendent, the following items be declared excess and disposed of as the district deems appropriate.
Any discussion? Any discussion?
Second. Oh, we just-
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
Jumping on.
I was waiting to see if she had to read them all.
Oh, no.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstained? Motion carried.
That upon the recommendation of the superintendent, the pre-referendum services agreement with Young and Wright Architectural be approved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Only that you approved at another meeting the pre-ref agreement through Campus. This is now our architectural firm who also worked with us on the last project. This project that's going out for the December 2020 referendum, we anticipate if voted for successfully with the voters in December of 2020, all of the work would be completed by the fall of 2021. This project will focus mainly on this building, the windows, the masonry, the parking lots, the sidewalks. But the board does need to make some big decisions by February of this year, if it's a 1 proposition or a 2 proposition, and what it is that they want to include in it beyond those items. Right now, we have about $12 million of must-dos. They're not pretty, they're usually behind the scenes, mechanical, electrical, or plumbing. But we also know that there are some other things that may be important to the Board of Education and the residents as well. So in the next couple of months, you'll be seeing a lot about this.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstained? Motion carried.
Business report.
Well, this is a perfect segue into the business report. We are currently had to do an emergency brick report, repointing project here without state aid for the area outside of Mrs. Walker's room because the building has been leaking water in and there was a mold level. We had the mold tested, it's within acceptable levels. But we need to get the bricks repointed so that we can have that fixed and alleviate the problem. We also have an emergency roof repair going on.
Which is why you're in here tonight and not in the odd.
Right.
Is
it's
that why
in
it
the
kept dripping?
That's why it's dripping.
Yep.
Yep, and ruining on your floor.
Same place on the stage again?
Mhm. So basically what we're trying to do is we're going to use the repair reserve money, which will mean within the next 2 budget years, we will have to replenish the repair reserve for the funds that are being borrowed so that we can get these repairs done. So you're talking approximately a little over $20,000 to repair both items.
Sit it?
That was a quick one.
Yeah. Superintendent's report.
Mine's a quick one too. Just to continue on the domino effect with our secretarial staff, as you remember in the last couple of meetings, we had a few moves. These are not resolutions for the board, these are just simply transfers within clerical, but I want to put it on record and let you know. The latest one we did is we had a half secretary, Kim Bechachinsky, in technology, and she was also half in the athletic office. The board allowed us to create 2 full-time positions, which is a long time coming, probably 9 years or more. Would you agree with that,
Yes.
Lucinda? Thank you for putting up with that for 9 years. So what will end up happening is a full-time secretary in the tech department with Lucinda and a full-time in the athletic office. That Jay, whom we just appointed, has a dual role as an athletic director and an assistant principal and will now have a full-time secretary to help him. That was not the case for Marissa as an athletic director, and we know bringing somebody new in that it would just exacerbate what has already been a challenge for us. So Kim Bechachinsky voluntarily chose to go to athletics and assistant principal, and we are absolutely thrilled with that. She's worked for athletics in the past, and she also has worked for transportation in the past, so her knowledge in that and being able to help Jay get on board will be most helpful for us. This basically means now that we have an opening within technology no one in the district put in for that, so we're currently canvassing for that position and hope to have it filled by the end of December. We do have one more move too, but it's not decided yet, so we will see a couple more dominoes, probably at the December meeting.
Okay, student report.
Yeah, so last week was kind of a busy week. We started off with, we have the ongoing, the Thanksgiving food drive which just ended, which was super successful this year, so that was really awesome.
You have to see the conference room, right?
Yeah,
It
there
looks
was
like a
like
food
stuff piled
pantry.
everywhere, so that was awesome. And then we had the blood drive at the end of the week, which went awesome. We saved close to like 150 lives with everyone's blood. Yeah. We had the AFS vendor market that went on Saturday morning, and yeah, and then winter sports began and stuff, so everyone's been pretty busy.
What's coming up?
Oh yeah, and then we got Christmas coming up. So we actually just had a meeting this past Tuesday, which we've opened up our student council meetings to everyone now. So I think that'll make everything more fun. We have a lot of input, so a lot of new activities and ideas are being planned. Yeah.
Thank you, Rachel.
Okay, board report roundtable.
Do you want to talk about our ag conference? It was
Yeah,
wonderful.
It was wonderful. Sandy and I went to the agricultural and education, I guess, conference, is that what they called it? It was yesterday at the fairgrounds in the agricultural discovery building. And really fascinating. They had the state officers from FFA that they're presenting all over the state, but they came and did a presentation for us. There were several school districts that came, and they talked about, the students talked about the roles of the opportunities in FFA that are available for them, and we talked about how we did, I guess, paperwork so that we can start getting the ball rolling, so we could get FFA back into Eden and, certify our
Yeah, so we're pointing at Larry,
program.
Larry Milson, because he was the FFA advisor for quite a while.
For quite a while.
And then I don't know if something changed in the state that required the advisor to have an ag degree or not.
Yeah, you have to offer ag classes,
Right.
so.
Right.
But basically, we found out we are.
Okay.
So we're
What we
doing
need
it
to
all
do.
right.
We just needed to get some
Paperwork.
paperwork.
And
to
Mr.
get-
Jones and Mr. Cermak have filled the role, they took over the role, and they did
They
a
are-
great job.
And even though Mr.
Exactly.
Jones isn't certified in it, they'll give us a conditional approval, which will allow our students to get FFA scholarships, and that's what we're really after.
And the big thing is that there's money available for schools.
And they can
so-
participate in competitions then too,
Yes.
so.
Right,
There's a
so,
$68,000 incentive grant that we're gonna apply for in December that's
and it's not
non-competitive,
competitive, so.
which is great, we
we're
can
gonna
use it
get
for
that.
anything.
So, yeah.
Well, and our curriculum is solid, so that's a lot of thanks to a lot of students and Mr. Henry, Barb Henry, Diane Held out of Cornell Co-op, a number of people in town to help us get that rolling across the district K-12.
But boy, to get an FFA chapter in Eden again, that would be so wonderful, because I was so impressed. I had no idea of the opportunities that are available, like you said, the competitions and things
Yeah.
and leadership, are opportunities for the students, so it was
It was
really
a good
nice.
day.
And a good lunch too.
Yeah, it was a good lunch too. And you got to ride in the new Suburban.
And I got to ride, Sandy picked me up in the Suburban, so it was wonderful. And I attended the NISBA, New York State School Board Association convention last month. Sandy was there too, but it was wonderful, a lot of great opportunities. One of the workshops I went to, which was really interesting, was the Ithaca City Schools have totally revamped their school lunch program, and it's very healthy, and they have found that it's affected, their attendance has gone up, grades have gone up, behavior is better because of better foods. More kids are buying the lunches, and I got tons of information, so if that was something that we wanted to look into, I certainly, I get contact information, and they're willing to share all kinds of things in it. And they really were very smart about how they implemented the program, because you can't just say to kids, oh yeah, you're all gonna eat healthy now, because no one's gonna do that, but they just had ways of introducing it gradually and having tasting events and getting input from the students and from parents and everybody, but it sounded really exciting, and something that I know when I used to teach her, I thought, oh gosh, what the things we're feeding our kids are.
So Ellen, you'll be on our wellness committee? That's what we're doing.
Are you really?
Yeah,
And
we
I
could use your
seriously
help.
have all kinds of stuff with, I even have it with me, so I
We need
would
people on
love
our
to.
committee.
So let me know.
Okay.
I would, yeah, I
Thank
would love to be that, do
Okay.
that. It would be great. Okay.
Well, high school report cards came out, and I did see the new high honor,
Yeah, you
honor
wanna
and merit.
explain it?
Well, there's really nothing to explain other than,
For years and years and years.
yeah, so once the kids hit the elementary school, they get numeric grades versus the actual like average grades versus what is, they use at GOP, 1, 2, 3.
Standards grades.
Yeah. So, then when my oldest transitioned to the middle school, high school, let me backtrack. At the elementary, they did high honor, honor, and merit roll, and then when we transitioned to the middle school, high school, it was just honor roll and merit roll, and I just found that interesting that it wasn't carried up to the high school. For me, I mean, just looking at it, there's a big difference between a kid who's got a 99 on the high honor roll versus a kid who's got a 90. And I think the kids should be, not that each kid isn't working equally hard, but I think those kids just should be recognized and it should
So
be
Jen
consistent.
brought it up and
across the board.
Lucinda fixed it. So, yep,
So there you go.
there you go.
Anybody else? All right, the
Good luck
next,
to Elle this weekend, right?
Oh,
Elle Necker,
Necker.
right?
yeah.
You wanna talk about that a little bit, Rachel? You familiar with it?
I'm not really familiar with
So
that. I
Elle
know that
Necker
it's
is
big,
qualified for states. Cheryl, do it.
Oh,
Cheryl.
here we go. I'm
Goodness, yes.
I volunteer with the girls swim team, and Elle Necker, 8th grader this year, unbelievable swimmer. I've been in swimming for 30-plus years, and I've never seen somebody with that talent at that age. And not just because of her speed on the team, but just her work ethic. She's humble, she just leads by example. I don't even think she realizes that, which is even more genuine. And she qualified for states in 4 events. She set like 5 school records.
It's crazy.
One of the oldest records on the girls' team from 2000, I think it was, or 2003. She broke one of those records. She set records at Maryvale and Springville this year, pool records there. And she picked 2 events, the 100 fly and the 100 breast. So she leaves tomorrow morning to go to Ithaca College, a beautiful facility there. And right now, just the pre-meet psych sheets and standings, she's the only 8th grader in the top 30 in both of her events. She's like right on the bubble at 30, and they bring the fastest 30 back for finals on Saturday, but for the fly, but in the 100 breaststroke, I think she's 16th, somewhere around there, and the fastest 8th grader there.
So you'll
So,
see
and-
her name for the next couple of years.
Yeah,
across New York
and
State.
what people, I think, don't understand, and I'm a big one to tell everybody about this, and this is certainly not to take away anything from volleyball or basketball or any of those sports, but swimming, for whatever reason, the state does not, when you make a state championship level, you are swimming against class A, B, C, D, private schools, parochial schools. They just throw them all together in a meet and do time standards. So if you're a state qualifier, you're a state qualifier for everybody in the state. If you end up being a state champion, you're a state champion out of every swimmer
There's
in
only
the state.
one.
So, yeah, it's a tough thing, but, we just had our banquet, that's why I was buzzing down here, we had our banquet up at the high school, and, she also got recognized as the most valuable swimmer on the team for the year, and as well as a bunch of other girls, and, she had a really good year, like, she just genuinely enjoyed it, and, like, the new record board, she's excited, they're gonna have to get up there and change a few
Yep,
things
we just
again.
bought it too.
Yeah,
We'll
she
change
just
it
bought it,
now.
put her name up there,
The
and then.
boosters bought it.
Boosters
Thank
bought it.
you. Thank you.
And
Looks good.
she'd already destroyed a couple of the records, so they're gonna have to get somebody back up there to fix it, but. And Caroline
It looks
Col-
beautiful.
Yeah, it does,
too.
it
looks
is beautiful. And Caroline Coleman, who's been swimming since 7th grade, she's a junior this year, she broke the school record in the 500 freestyle too.
Wow.
Nice.
So at our, last chance sectional or state qualifier meet.
Nicely done.
It was a great
Thank you.
season
Thank
for
you.
the girls.
Okay, the next regular Board of Education meeting is Wednesday, December 18th, 2019 at 7 PM in the Eden Elementary School auditorium, unless there's leaking in the ceiling.
That'll be fair.
Sandy, one other thing, looking into 2020 already, the April meeting, will we have that before or after? Okay, all right, we'll leave it until January.
So before or after?
Because it's, well, spring break would be the normal third
So that
Wednesday.
April meeting is determined by Erie to BOCES, because everybody has to have it on the same night. Do you want to describe that, Barb? It's part of your-
Normally have it on a Tuesday, and they sent something around early January and ask us what day we prefer. And then they take whatever day the most districts want to do it, and that's the day. And it's, like I said, normally Tuesday, usually the third Tuesday. But if that's a break week, they'll probably push it.
Yeah, they won't put it on break week.
Right.
So it'll usually come before the break and not after.
Well, break is early.
Break starts
Oh, is it
on
break
the
early?
11th.
So,
Good Friday's
do you
the
want to
11th.
Good
guess where
Friday's
you
the
think it
10th.
might be, Barb? You've been
I
like
already
7 for
guessed, and I
7.
Well,
put it on-
don't some schools, well, I think that's more central New York, that has their break before Easter.
So our breaks are determined by the state assessments. And Erie 1 and Erie 2 schools, so all the schools around here have agreed to do it at the same time. There was a year about 4 years ago when Erie 1 and Erie 2 were not on the same calendar and cousins couldn't go on vacation. Kids who went to Hamburg versus kids who went to Eden. And we
Pull their
got
kids out of
so
school.
many complaints that they've now have agreement between the two. Barb's been 7 for 7 on her prediction of when.
Oh, more than that.
More than that.
I've been here 20 years, I've been 20 for 20.
20 for 20. So my 7, her 20, of what night it'll be on, so.
Okay.
Thank you for asking.
Break starts on the 10th and goes, you go back to school on the 20th.
Yeah.
It'll probably be the 21st.
So we'll go after most likely. Okay.
All right, so now, that upon the recommendation of the superintendent, the Board of Education enter executive session to discuss the history of a particular person.
Any discussion? Or no, make a motion.
Oh, second, sorry.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstained? Motion carries.
And that executive session will take place here.